further measures?
Well, Commissioner, you said before the growth champion of Europe, and I thought that just for a second you would mean Greece, because for the last 5 years I think that we merit this role. But thank you very much. Well, gender pay gap is an issue. It's an issue in Europe, it's an issue in Greece as well. And in fact, the delta of the gender pay gap is smaller in Greece than the median of Europe. And as in everything in life, one can see this as a glass which is half full, and one can see this as a glass which is half empty. And I'll start with the half empty approach, which explains the smaller gender pay gap in Greece and the median of the European Union as the lower participation of women in the labor force. If one sees the gender pay gap in the half full way, one would realize and acknowledge all the reforms that have been designed and implemented by the Greek government. And in order to give a kind of structural approach, I'll try to summarize the reforms in 3 axes and then give our vision to what Europe can do in 3 axes as well. So the 3 axes on what we've done, and we wouldn't be here discussing what we can further do if there was no gap. We wouldn't be discussing what to further do if we were just happy, all of us together, nationally, but also in a European manner, if we thought that the penetration of different demographic groups in the employment market are fair and equitable and symmetric. They're not. So the question is, what can be done to strengthen what's been done so far, and what can be changed? In the 3 axes that I've thought schematically, we can talk about EPLs, employment protection legislation, and what has been done in this regard. We can talk about the social protection system and what has been done with regards to services enabling more women to enter or re-enter the labor force. And also we can talk about participation and what we've done to enhance participation in the labor market. With regards to EPLs and employment protection legislation, Greece has followed and has overseen in some degrees the 2 directives of the European Union, and in fact is now acknowledged by the World Bank as one of the 11 countries that offers full legal equality between men and women at workforce. We've done everything it takes with regards to having full wage transparency, but this is not enough because we have the highest share of self-employed people. So it's not just to be able to see and observe within our digital system what the remuneration is in wages, because we have quite a lot of women in the informal sector, but also quite a lot of self-employed. And we've done quite a lot in participation. I think that in participation and everything that is pertaining participation from the angle of maternity and work-life balance, I think we are very close in Greece to reach the ceiling. And what do I mean by that? I think we've done everything it takes with regards to pregnancy leave and pregnancy benefits. We've done everything it takes with regards to maternity leaves and maternity benefits. Currently, everyone who is in the labor market, if you are in waged labor, if you're self-employed, if you're a farmer, you do enjoy the same rights, which are much, much larger than before and do cover 9 months after you giving birth. We've done everything it takes with regards to introducing a childbirth benefit of 2,500 euros. We've done everything it takes with regards to introducing a paternity leave and, in fact, having it 50% higher than the one of the directive. But it seems that still this is not enough. We have invested heavily, and this goes together with the initiative of the Commissioner, the Child Guarantee, in children-targeted services. We've invested heavily in nurseries in all possible ways. And what do I mean by all possible ways? By increasing funding so that all middle-income, not just vulnerable families, but middle-income families do receive funding for nurseries. We've topped our policies for nurseries with regards to increasing the hours that kids can be occupied if their family needs in nurseries. We've increased the quality of nurseries so that they're not parking lots for kids, but they are places where, in a child guarantee way, you develop first the capacity of the kid, and then you serve the balance of the household. And then I think we've also done everything it takes with regards to, well, if not everything it takes, we've done quite a lot, with regards to reducing the burden from the female side of the dependents when it comes to having a dependent within the household with disability, but also with regards, and this is where I think collectively we all have a lot to do with the elderly. And this is still not enough. Now, how we envisage what Europe can do and what we all collectively can do together so that we can take this a step further, not just discuss about what we're doing. Again, in my mind, it can be structured around 3 axes. The first has to do with, well, they all basically have to do with how we cater to the needs and the demands of women and the specific demands and interests they might have as a separate demographic group. And this can be structured around full-time or part-time employment. They can be structured around working from home or remote working from anywhere they wish. And also with regards to taking supply-side services, so increasing the time and the space they have when we deal with their dependents. And I'll start from the last one, dealing with their dependents. I think the Commission has stopped everything that has to do with the child guarantee, now the youth guarantee, but what I can see is the next initiative of our Commissioner for the elderly guarantee. I mean, there is a lot of work that we can collectively do on this. And given the fact that we are, unfortunately, an aging continent, and a continent with huge demographic problems. A country like mine or Italy have really strong ones, but we all have demographic problems. There's a lot to be done with active aging, but also with regards to taking care of the elderly so that the ones that are taking care of them now can join in their own terms the productive forces. And the other 2 things that we can do is work better on remote working, see what kind of alliances we can form with employers with regards to enabling more remote working when this is desired by the employees, given the fact that we have an employees shortage market now in the European Union, and also seeing what we can do with full and part-time work, whether we can further enhance part-time work when needed, what we can do with insurance contributions, and how we can get a better deal between full and part-time work when demographic groups are requiring these to remain or enter the labor market. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have heard an invitation to social policy and labor market innovation, and the idea of the elderly guarantee should be further discussed. But before this opportunity, I would like to now address the Minister from Italy, Ms. Calderone, because indeed in the recent cycle, one of the biggest achievements was something which was very important for Italy, which was the shore instrument. And previously, in previous crises and recessions, the concept which is behind the shore, which is the short-time work arrangement, was mainly used in the German-speaking countries. And I think it was very important that the whole European Union